The real Islamic political order. Is deen an interchangeable word for religion with same meanings and spectrum, or they are two distinct identities? And if they are distinct, what then is Islam, deen, or a religion? Linguistic meanings of the term deen in Arabic dictionaries: subjugation and dominance, obedience and bondage, rules and regulations, reward and repayment. Deen is essentially a system of systems which integrates and guides the communal and individual affairs, behaviors, and organisms of mankind in a holistic manner. One way of defining deen can be that it is a complete way of life where human beings subjugate and subordinate themselves to the sovereignty and dominance of God and render willful obedience to His defined laws, rules, regulations, norms, principles, and order of civilization, so as to attain the reward in this world and hereafter. While the scope of religion is limited to a set of dogmas, rituals for worship, and a number of social customs to celebrate important life events. In fact, the flux of authority between churches and the state, as well as myopic interpretation of the religious scriptures, lead to dissection amongst masses. Religion, instead of paving way for human development and offering reasonable solution to problems, was felt to be an obstacle in way of advancement. This became one of primary factor that gave birth to the secular ideology, the cornerstone of which was segregation of religion from state's affair and vice versa. Secularism believes sovereignty lies with the people, and thus they are the supreme articulator of their affairs, making any laws and defining norms, even if they contradict to the divine laws. Secularism is adaptable to any phenomena or system that it deems fit to his interests and human reasoning. In short, secular humanism best describes the ideology of secularism, that human beings are capable of being ethical and moral without religious beliefs. In this context, it is imperative to understand the concept of taghut, which literally means to overstep boundaries or rebel. Holy Quran refers it to all evil and arrogant forces, systems, or orders that are not only willfully crossing the boundaries set by Allah, but additionally demand loyalty and obedience in their defiance. Secularism, if disaligned from the principles of Islam, is in fact offering a taghuti ideology which carves a notion of arrogance, knowledge supremacy, fake self-sufficiency, and self-delusion. In the dominion of taghut, the objectives of Islam cannot be achieved, which can leave the mankind in chaos. Thus, Islam is not meant to survive submissively as a mere religion under the authority of a system misaligned from the edifice of deen. Instead, Islam is meant to master and dominate all other systems, ideologies, and way of lives. Karbala moment is a watershed in the political ideology of Islam. It was a struggle by Imam Hussein against the taghuti system, to teach Muslim Ummah that any person who does not understand the entire edifice of deen shall not be imposed, selected, or elected over the affairs of Muslim. Because if any corrupt, incapable, self-centered, and tyrant individual comes at the top and starts handling the affairs of Muslims, then for sure he will jeopardize the whole construct or edifice of Dini Islam. Islamic political ideology is pivoted around a worthy leader who can handle the Islamic state affairs as a representative vicegerent of God and understands the entire edifice of deen. Microscoping the worthiness of Yazid as a leader of Muslims clearly unveils that he lacked these attributes of a leader and managed to get to leadership office as a beneficiary of monarchical system, which started at the culmination of Khilafat Rashida. While Hussein marks the embodiment of the political ideology of Islam, Yazid is the figurative representative of taghut. The purpose of his legitimate movement was primarily to strive against the deviations and defiance of tyrannical regime from the edifice of deen, emphasize the eligibility criteria of leadership's office and necessity of the true Islamic principles and laws over personal choices and interests. If Hussein were not to undertake this struggle, the political ideology of Islam would have long perished, but through his blood he drew the demarcation line between the truth and taghut, and saved the principality of Islam from being altered.